This is a recipe designed for those friends and family members who would like to become plant-based, but they think they can't give up meat. This is a simple recipe that doesn't take a lot of time, which is perfect for a quick, hearty lunch or dinner. Use 1 sausage per person. First, preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. In this recipe, we'll use 2 Beyond Sausage hot Italian sausages. We like spicy food, but you can always opt for the Brat if you prefer not to have the heat. Cut your sausages in half lengthwise. I like to remove the skins, but that's a personal choice. If you want to keep them on, that's perfectly fine. There are several meat substitutes on the market, but I find Beyond Beef to be the closest in taste to what I remember beef tasting like, and it comes in a variety of configurations that make it easy to incorporate it into a family meal. They have burger patties, ground beef, spicy hot Italian sausage, and brats. I like both the Italian and the brats, and I pick up whichever one is available in a store at the time. Place them cut side down in a nonstick pan. I prefer to buy my sausages frozen. They arrive at the store frozen, and I just as soon know how long they've been sitting on a cooler shelf. Sometimes in the meat department, they can look pretty bad after a few days. You can ask your grocer if he has any frozen in the bag. Then you have the option of putting a few in the freezer as well as thawing out a package for immediate use. Each sausage contains 12 grams of fat, so this isn't something I like to do very often, maybe 2 or 3 times a year. I use specific brands of sausages for specific purposes. If I want to give vegan pizza a little more flavor, I add a half of a filled roast Mexican chipotle sausage. If I want to make a submarine sandwich, I use either of the 2 Beyond sausages from Beyond Beef. Turn the burner on to medium-high. Cover them with a lid. This pan doesn't come with a lid, so I'm borrowing one from another pan that doesn't exactly fit, but it'll do the job. I'm using 24 ounces of canned tomatoes. I preserve these myself, so if you don't can your own, you may certainly use store-bought. You can use as many tomatoes as you like, just adjust the herbs accordingly. I like to use a large skillet for this job because the greater surface area allows more of the excess liquid to burn off in a shorter amount of time. Pour in the tomatoes and turn the burner on to medium-high. I'm adding a few cranks of black pepper. Next, stir in 2 tablespoons of basil, a half tablespoon of oregano, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which is optional. As you can see, we want to cook both of these dishes at a fast simmer, almost a boil. We want the sauce to reduce quite a bit and become fairly thick to avoid making soggy sandwiches. This sandwich is going to be a little messy to eat, but trust me, it is worth it. Keep an eye on your sausages and turn them down when they become a little brown. Once both sides have browned, transfer them to the tomato mixture. If you want to reduce the fat in this dish, simply lift the sausages out carefully and transfer them individually to the sauce. Then throw out the oil they produced in cooking. I like to transfer the oil as well because it adds a good deal of flavor. Remember, we are trying to get meat eaters to embrace a plant-based lifestyle, so don't skimp on the flavor on this one. It is much better than serving them actual sausages. My carnivorous brother absolutely loved this dish when I introduced him to it, and he actually came back for seconds. When your oven has reached temperature, set your bread inside on a baking stone or just on an open rack. Set your timer for 5 minutes. Check the doneness of the bread by thumping on the crust for a hollow sound. If it needs a couple of minutes more, that's fine. This particular bread is pre-cooked and it only needs to be heated for 5 to 7 minutes. Once it's done, cut the loaf in half crosswise, then down the middle from cut end to uncut end, dividing it into a sandwich loaf, 1/2 loaf for each person. Transfer 2 sausage halves to each loaf. Cover with a generous portion of the thickened sauce. Serve hot. I usually make some green vegetable and a starch like smashed potatoes to accompany this dish. This bread I purchased from a local grocer, but you can make your own if you prefer. I have a recipe for making French baguettes, which I'll provide a link for in the comments below. You may have leftover sauce. In my next video, I'll show you a quick and easy recipe to make use of it. Until then, happy cooking.